Okay, so today we're diving into a really simple, but honestly, a life-changing idea from author Steve Chandler. It's all about tackling that feeling of overwhelm that I think we all know too well. It's a way to finally trade in all that chaos for a real sense of control. And it all starts by understanding the trap you might not even realize you're in.
Does this sound familiar? Your alarm goes off, and before you've even had your coffee, you're already just putting out fires. You're just bouncing from one urgent email to the next crisis, constantly reacting to whatever gets thrown at you instead of actually, building the day you wanted. It feels like you're not even in the driver's seat of your own life, right?
And let's be real for a second. When you're stuck in that state, the absolute last thing you want to hear is some pep talk about motivation. I mean, come on. When you're feeling down or just totally frustrated, the very idea of getting started on something new feels impossible. Motivation feels like this luxury that's reserved for other people. Steve Chandler actually gives this feeling a really powerful name. He calls it attention deficit disorder. It's that aimless, kind of drifting sensation where, yeah, you're busy for sure, but you don't really know what it's all adding up to. You're short on intention. You're just lacking that clear sense of purpose behind what you're doing. Okay, so the obvious answer seems to be, well, just make a plan, right? If you feel aimless, just create an aim. But if it were really that simple, we'd all be doing it. The truth is, there's a really powerful trap that keeps us stuck right where we are. And here's what that trap looks like. You start your day already behind. You're basically buried in the fallout from yesterday. So instead of moving forward, your first few hours are just spent cleaning up old messes and dealing with all these lingering issues. But here's the real kicker. A huge number of those problems, all those little crises you're constantly reacting to, they were actually caused by a failure to plan in the first place. That meeting that ran way too long, or a task that just fell through the cracks? It all comes from the same root cause.
And boom, that completes the vicious cycle. You spend all your energy reacting to problems that were caused by not planning, which leaves you with absolutely zero time to actually plan for tomorrow. You're trapped, and you're basically guaranteeing that the chaos is just going to repeat itself day after day.
But there is a way out, and this incredible insight comes from Napoleon Hill. He argued that the best way to master that feeling of frustration isn't to just sit around and wait for it to pass. No, it's to transmute it, to actively transform that negative emotional energy by channeling it into what he called definitely planned work.
And that right there is the core concept. It's not just work. It's work that is planned out, work that is definite, work that is intentional. This is the antidote to that feeling of aimlessness and just constantly reacting. This is how you finally break the cycle.
And get this, the return you get on this investment of time is staggering. Time management experts have found a really clear ratio. For every 1 hour you spend planning, you save, on average, 3 hours in execution. Just think about that for a second. You are literally buying back your own time. And you can see that trade-off so clearly right here. That long bar for unplanned work, that's the chaos. That's all the wasted effort and runaway meetings. But now, look at that second bar. That tiny little investment in planning time dramatically shrinks the total time you spend working. It is, without a doubt, the most productive hour you have all week.
So this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the example of Kirk Nelson. He was a sales manager who completely turned his work and his whole life around with just this one principle.
And his method wasn't complicated at all. He didn't go out and buy some fancy software or anything. He just blocked off 2 hours every single weekend to sit down and carefully plan out his entire week. That's it. That was the whole system. And the results, they were just remarkable. I mean, not only did he get 3 times more work done, but just look at the emotional benefits. He felt completely in control. The week didn't just happen to him anymore. As he put it, the week felt like his week, and the work finally felt like his work. This quote just captures the ultimate payoff. It says it all, doesn't it? My life feels like my life. This goes so far beyond simple productivity hacks. This is about reclaiming a sense of ownership, a sense of agency over your own existence.
So this really reveals the fundamental choice we all have. Working without a plan, well, that just leaves us wide open to worry and aimless drift. But working with a plan allows us to generate our own purpose. In fact, it's almost impossible to work with a definite sense of purpose and feel depressed at the very same time. The two just can't coexist.
So here's the most important thing to take away from all this.
The plan itself is a source of energy. It's not just some boring to-do list, it's a machine for creating purpose. Carefully planned work doesn't just organize your tasks, it inspires you, it motivates you, and it pushes all that worry and anxiety to the side.
Which brings us to the final question, and this one is for you. This isn't about finding more time in your day, it's about investing your time. So if 1 hour can give you back 3, and more importantly, give you back a sense of real control and purpose, what could that 1 hour of planning give back to you this week?